What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selena, and in today's video I will be reviewing this book that I'm trying to remember if I got the recommendation from Pinterest or TikTok. I didn't get the physical book. Like, this is not my actual copy. This is from the library. It took me a while to read. I'm not gonna lie, I got it last month, April 29th or something, and then I started reading it May 8th or something. The synopsis goes as follows. Shy, bookish, and admittedly awkward Lily Green has always felt inadequate compared to the rest of her accomplished family who strive for Black excellence. She dreams of becoming a children's book editor, but she's been frustratingly stuck in the non-fiction division for years without a promotion in sight. Lily finds escapism in her correspondence with her favorite fantasy author, and what begins as two lonely people connecting over email truths into attentive friendship and possibly something else, Lily won't let herself entertain until he ghosts her without a word. Months later, Lily is still crushed, but she's determined to get a hold of her life, starting with finding a date to her sister's wedding, and the perfect person to help her is Nick Brown, her charming, attractive new neighbor, who she feels drawn to for reasons she can't explain. But little does she know, Nick is an author, her favorite fantasy author. Nick, who has a reason for using a pen name and pushing people away, soon realizes that the beautiful, quiet girl from down the hall is the same Lily he fell in love with over emails months ago. Unwilling to complicate things even more between them, he agrees to set her up with someone else, though this simple favor between two neighbors is anything but. Not when he can't get her off his mind. So yeah, I finished this book in 2 or 3 days because I was reading it for 30 minutes each day. The book starts off with Lily being stuck on a train, and it was an overheated, overcrowded train in New York, and it was like stuck. And to distract herself while being on the train, she was doing research on her favorite author who wrote this book that she found that nobody knows about, and it's super like an indie author, I guess you could say that. So she ends up seeing that he has a page, and on his new page he has an email. So she starts typing up an email to him and ends up fainting and accidentally sends the email. Meanwhile, Nick is in Amsterdam. He just finishes up dinner with this family that he was doing a story on for his magazine, like a article on for his magazine. So when he goes back to the hotel, he opens up his laptop and he sees that he has an email with the email that his manager slash friend set up for him for his author. So he ends up seeing that he has an email based on the topic of a book that he wrote when he was younger that he absolutely dropped because he had bad development with the book. So he's scared to open the email because he thinks it's gonna be a negative email or something. So, but then curiosity overcomes him. So he ends up opening the email, and he gets the email from Lily, and he decides to reply because she didn't finish her email because she ended up fainting. So after he replies, she responds, and then they started having a back and forth, which leads them into talking every day. And they end up deciding they wanted to see each other because they were starting to catch feelings. So the day they were supposed to meet, Nick stops replying to her, and then she would constantly message him and he never replied. So he basically ghosted her. And then we move on to, I think, a few months later. The story goes on to show a couple of months later, Lily is dealing with being ghosted, and she ends up having a little crush on her next door neighbor, who ends up being Nick, and that's how the story starts. Okay, so character breakdowns. So Lily is this book loving, she's kind of shy, she's considered the kind sister, and she's more introverted than her sisters. She has a job working as an assistant, which she does not like. Her dream job was to be working with children's fantasy books. Every time she tries to get a job with that, she ends up either she fumbles the interview, doesn't pass the interview, or something like that. That's what's happening so far, and that is her life. And then Nick is this guy who has a lot of trauma, and so because of his trauma, he puts up a front and is not very quick to open to people. So people think he's this confident, like, overgoing guy, but really he's a bit of a nerd and he's closed off. He is also super introverted, and because of this, that's why he hides from Lily. Yeah, and that's why he hides from Lily, because of his trauma, which I'm gonna get into. I think I'm gonna spoil a lot of this book because I just am. Here are my thoughts / notes that I took while I was reading the book. So at the beginning, when they were emailing back and forth, I was like, oh yeah, she definitely overshares a lot. And I was like, his secret being a pen name and lying about where he is from is so dumb, when he did it not to deceive anyone into dating him, but to protect himself from his leeching dad. Which is crazy. Like, you know what? He's pretty creative, I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, you gotta be a creative to be an author. And then I was like, I hate miscommunication tropes. If you just told her, I don't understand why she would be upset you're not British. Which she was not upset about that. And then I was like, these two are an awkward mess. Hey, I just kissed you and then rejected you, but I'm off to IKEA. Bye. And then I was like, that's hilarious. Why would she say that? Page 138. This was when she was explaining, like, oh yeah, I'm really awkward when I'm talking. And she's like, she went up to a guy at the bar. And she's like, she saw the drink he was drinking. She's like, did you know back in the day? Which had me... this had me cackling her little comment. I'll put it here. Like, I took a picture. I put it here. I think she's like, oh, did you know back in the day they used to think that drink was yellow because of pee, so you're drinking pee. And the guy was like, okay. But I found when she was saying that story, I'm sorry, if she was saying it to me, I would have been cackling. I'm like, girl, that is so funny. Why would you say that? And then I was like, I gobbled up the first 10 chapters, but now it feels like it's dragging. Yeah, the first 10 chapters were so freaking good. Like, if I was to base my rating based off of only the 10 chapters, the first 10 chapters, it would have been a 5-star review, because I would read that over and over again because I really liked it. And then I was like, why did we get so many chapters for this birthday barbecue? Wrap it up. Her thinking Oliver looks like the author in her head is so stupid. Stupid, I can't. She has not one inclination of what he looks like. He just says he's British. For all you know, he could have been a white man who wrote a book on black characters. And like, it was just dumb. And then when her cat got sick, I didn't understand why she called Nick to help her with the cat. But again, I guess it's because he's the person she's most comfortable with. So that's probably why she called him. I said the only thing she should possibly be mad about is him hiding this fact for this long after finding out. And that's exactly why she was upset, because I understood why she was upset. And then I was like, the ending was so lackluster, I'm a little annoyed, because no. How are you gonna give me such good first 10 chapters and this is how you end the book? Like, I wanted fluff. I wanted to see them like in love. Like, you know, I wanted them on like really cute dates. Yeah, so final reviews. So my final rating based off of the ending of the book, I gave this book a 3-star because I did enjoy it, and I was happy they got together. But because I liked the characters so much, I was expecting a lot more progression in the story, and I was expecting a lot more progression between the characters and their issues and solving their issues. Like, one, Lily. I didn't like how the ending for her dealing with her sisters, setting her up on dates. Yeah, so I didn't like the ending of her dealing with all her family issues. Was she did it in such a passive way. I wanted her to be more aggressive with how she came so that her point could really get across. But again, I guess it goes with her character. So one, her sister's always setting her up on dates since she was in high school with men that they rejected. I don't understand why she didn't bring that up. I don't understand why she didn't tell her sisters, listen, the reason why nothing ever works out with me and the guys that you guys set me up is because these guys want you guys and then I'm the second option. Don't set me up with guys that like you. I don't care. Like, it's weird. I don't know what was going on with these sisters, because her sisters are more in tune with themselves. They like, the first sister, she was married. The second sister was engaged and she's always dating. And I would expect Violet to be more in tune with stuff. and see that these guys like her, so she wouldn't set her sister up with them. But I don't know why I don't know, maybe we'll find out why she was setting up her sister with these guys in the second book, which I'm gonna read because the synopsis is pretty interesting. But for Iris, I don't know if I'm gonna read her book because she's a single mom and I don't do single mother story. I'm sorry, I just don't care for single moms falling in love because it's not really what I'm into. The only time I'll read a single mom going with the guy is if the guy is her baby's father and like he's a good guy and like it's them getting back together, like it's secret baby or something. That I'm into. But like just a single mom finding another in love, like no, I don't care for that. But anyway, so that was one. And then two, her telling her parents, but I guess the way she told her parents was okay. But I felt like for Lily, she was the toxic one in her family because she was too passive most of the time and she never stood up for herself. So her family was constantly pushing her. And then she was just like taking whatever she comes. And she felt like the person that stuff was coming. And she will just hold it. And then one day she's just going to explode. So I felt like she needed to like find ways that in the moment when things are happening, she needed to get her boost so she could tell them no or tell them her opinion at that time instead of waiting days to do it. Like for that, I wish she got like character development. And also her ending with her boss, I wish she would have cussed that lady out because that lady was doing too much with her. And the way she did, she just like, oh, I quit, bye. I'm like, what? That's the end of it? I would have cussed her clean because how are you gonna tell me I'm the assistant type? Like the only place I'm gonna be is here to be underneath you. You don't lost your mind. I would have cussed her clean and then quit. Like you're quitting anyways, so might as well quit with a bang. Like, and then for Nick, the way they handled him dealing with the issues for his parents, I did not like it. I felt like him being like, oh yeah, they're my parents and I love them was a cop-out. He needed to go hard on his parents. I don't know, maybe I'm just an aggressive person. No, I think it pisses me off because I relate so much with these characters. Like, I'm very, 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 like, quiet and to myself. And another thing I do is when stuff, like, I don't speak out. My speaking out is I just don't talk to you anymore. I block these people. Like, I just leave. And that's the end. That's the end for me. Like, I just move on. I don't really go talk it out and tell you. I just never talk to these people ever again. That's me. So I felt like if I had an opportunity to tell them how I felt, I would. I guess what I was trying to say was they didn't speak up, and the people they should have spoke up to are people they have to communicate with every day. Like, their family were doing things that they didn't like and they never spoke up. Especially for Nick's case, if I was Nick, in that situation, I definitely would have spoken up to my parents. But the reason why I just cut off other people is because I'm never going to see these people again. I don't live with them. I don't care. So if it was my family members doing something that I did not like, I would definitely tell them at that moment, I don't like it. Anyway, so with Nick, especially, one, he needed therapy. He needed to go to therapy because he has some serious issues. The way he was raised, like, him being in love with her is not gonna fix all of that. Him like saying, oh, I'm gonna try and work it out. No, that trauma is gonna constantly keep coming up in their relationship until he actually fixes it and goes to therapy and gets like work done on that. Because the way he ended it with especially his dad, instead of talking it out and telling his dad, this is what you did to me and this is the cause and effect of what you did to me. Like, he tells it to his friends, but I feel like if he told his father and they had that conversation, it would have helped him more. I feel like I would have felt more satisfied with knowing that he had let that out so he can let good in. You know what I'm saying? So the way they ended it with his dad is his dad being like, oh, aren't we all messed up? And he's like, yeah, I guess we're all messed up. I'm like, what? Man, he may be fucked, but he ain't as fucked as you. What are you talking about? There's different levels to this, man. Like, what are you talking about? Because you were a shitty parent, I'm shitty too. Like, no. I was so mad. I didn't like that. Yeah, and again, I said there was no mention at the end of the book of him going to like therapy to like even if he decided not to confront his parents about it, she could have at least said he was going to therapy to work through it, so that while they're in their relationship, what if a little bump happens? I feel like he's gonna be back to the beginning where he's running away again. Because when they were having issues, what was the first thing he wanted to do? Run. Because he was scared she was gonna reject him. So what do you think is gonna happen in the relationship when they have issues? Like, and he feels like, oh, he can't talk to anybody about it, so what is he gonna do? He's gonna pack up and run. Like I said, great character, shitty conclusion. Some people said they didn't like Nick, but I like Nick. Like, I understood his character. I really like these characters, I'm not gonna lie. I don't, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna read the sister story, but I kind of didn't really like her in this story. The two sisters, I didn't really like them. Like, I felt like they were too pushy, pushing all their rejects onto their sister, and that's some bullshit. But the Violet story seems pretty interesting. I like it. She gets drunk and ends up marrying her ex, that's a second chance romance. I don't know if I'm gonna read it now, because so far these second chance romances are on some bull. But anyways, yeah. And another thing that made me like drop stars from chapter 1 to 10 stars. I felt like the story at the ending was starting to like really go slow and drag, and then it was dragging in a way where I'm like, what does this even have to do with the main characters? And then the ending with the main characters was some bullshit. Like, really, you're gonna end it with them at the Christmas market or whatever? No, I wanted to see them on more dates than just that one date. I wanted to see them, like, their little dynamic if they live together, like if they live together or not, or where was she even staying? I don't even know. And then I wanted to see her after quitting her job. I wanted to see her interview with getting that new job. I wanted to see her moving to the new job and how she was like coping and how she was adjusting to this new job and how that was going for her. And then with Nick, I wanted to see his progression with finishing the second book, and then like maybe like instead of just telling me, oh, he had a phone interview, I wanted to see him going out and doing press runs for his new book and his movie, and finally having like fan meetings. But I guess maybe that'll be in the next two books, but I hope it is, because we got a lot of Violet and Iris's background and backstory in this book about Lily. So in Violet's book, I better be getting updates, like super in detail updates of Nick and Lily, because I got too much about Violet and her man. It was so obvious this wedding was not gonna happen, from him barely being present, from the planning of the wedding, and like even the theme of the wedding, the way the wedding was gonna be. I'm like, this marriage is not happening. Like, stop talking to me about this fail. I know it was not gonna happen. Like, please. First, she's saying the day of the engagement he would keep leaving to be on the phone. That wasn't a red flag. Like, please. Yeah, I knew. But anyway, so these were my thoughts on this story. I was so upset because I was like, oh, finally, I found another book I'm gonna buy a physical copy of. And it just let me down, the ending. I was so like, oh, come on. I want to spend money. Let me spend money. Please, take my money. And yeah, so this book was a 3 stars. I would definitely read it again, but I'll just read it on Kindle. I don't need a physical copy of it. Wait, I can't even read it on Kindle. Should I buy it? Now I'll just borrow it from the library again if I ever want to read it. But yeah, those were my thoughts on The Neighbor Favor. Great story, great characters, very mild ending. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts were and how you felt reading this story. Did you guys like the book? Did you guys like the ending? Did you guys like the characters? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.